Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Thank you again for joining me. Today I'm so excited to be reviewing the new Rihanna powder and concealer. Now I did do a review on their foundation, but it didn't quite work for me. I tried 3 different colors and all 3 times it just oxidized a little bit too much for me, so I just kind of gave up on it. I am a huge fan of their lip glosses. I constantly buy them. I'm constantly using them on myself, on my client. They're just beautiful, and they have a new one, and I will be showing you that later too. All right, so I did pick up the powder. The powder that I picked up was in Banana. Now they do have 8 different shades, and it is $32. It is colored powder, so they don't have a translucent powder. They do have like a really interesting brightening powder, so that'd be interesting to get, which I didn't pick up. And it is a super fine weightless powder. Now, I really like the fact that this little guy right here, because as you know, these little guys right here are kind of hard to pull off. So they were nice enough to make this little tab right here a little bigger, so it's easier to put off, because usually I have to stick it with like tweezers, actually these tweezers and stuff like that. So it was nice that they came up with that. Now, I do have to say this because a couple of my friends bought the powder and they didn't actually see that it had a little extra compartment right here. And inside you have a little cap, which is nice because, and then it kind of covers everything and your powder doesn't go flying around. So that is really nice that they actually, included that in there. So now this powder, I'm going to go ahead and kind of swatch it a little bit. It feels really nice and soft. It's really light and airy, and it feels like silk. It just has like that really silky feeling to it, and it does have a little bit of fragrance. It's not as potent as like the Huda, but it does have a little bit of a scent. Like right now, I kind of smell it, and I can't really get, maybe because I was sick and I can't smell very well, but here and there, I just kind of get a little whiff of it. It's not something that it bothers me, but it is just a really nice powder. Now, the concealer is $26. They do have 50 shades, which is really nice because it pretty much covers all kinds of skin tones. It's creamy, it's long wear, it's crease proof, and it's a medium to full coverage. So we're going to go ahead and play with this. I did use it with a little brush and my beauty blender, and I don't know if you saw my video last night, but I was actually kind of going to town with this because I don't feel it's as full coverage as the Shape Tape. I'm gonna go, I just dropped it, hold on. I drop everything, I'm klutzy. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of show you what the Shape Tape looks like in comparison to it. Okay, so this is the Shape Tape. It is really nice and creamy also, but this is like a super full coverage where it kind of cancels everything out. And I'm going to go ahead and do the Fenty right next to it. As you can see, it's also really nice and creamy. But as you see, it kind of starts to fade out a little bit. It is a medium coverage. I don't really feel like it's a full coverage because I actually, and you know me if you've been following me, I'm really light-handed. So I normally don't put a ton of concealer or anything underneath my eyes. So, I'll be showing that. Oh, and I also did a wear test, so I will be showing that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit, actually a lot, underneath. And that I never put this much. On this side, I'm going to go ahead and do the brush. I keep wanting to say this brush. Now, they did come out with some brushes. But when I was kind of playing with the brushes a little bit, I feel like I didn't want to spend $30-something for them when I'm using my Real Techniques, and it pretty much does the same thing. Now, this is really nice and creamy. It does feel like a little bit on the tacky side. So this is a concealer that I wouldn't go, like I wouldn't put this on and then immediately put this on. Like I would just give it like a second to kind of settle. So that is with the brush. I'm gonna go ahead and put the other side on with the Juno blender. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go in here, just kind of get right inside my inner corners. And this is actually good, which I normally do with my Shape Tape anyway. Sometimes I don't want to put like foundation. And by the way, I did use my double wear foundation. Sometimes I don't want to do this, so I actually use my concealer. If I'm using a concealer kind of like a foundation, I kind of get it the same color as my face, just kind of drag it down, powder it a little bit, and then off I go. They did say that this is pretty good for that, and I kind of agree. It's just a beautiful concealer. Okay, so that is what it looks like. Now, as you can see, I did put quite a, a good amount. And even though I love it because it's really nice and light, I really did have to go in with a little bit extra because I don't feel it's as thick as this. Now, the powder. The powder, I'm going to go ahead and put it on with like a damp Juno blender. Is it a beauty blender? See, now when I'm applying it, I could really smell it. This powder, I'm telling you, it makes you look like complete flawless underneath the eyes. And the weird thing about it is that even though I'm kind of pressing that powder all over my face, when I go into my little, check-in, the rest of my face got a little oily, but underneath my eyes, it kind of stayed the same. So see how it just makes everything look really pretty and flawless? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and look into the check-in. So I'm doing a wear test. I've been wearing this concealer, Fenty concealer and powder since around 8 o'clock this morning. It is now 9:30. I am wearing my double wear foundation with the Fenty concealer and the powder. And as you can see, my face is just like a little bit of a mess because I've been sneezing and coughing. I've been sick, so I've been blowing my nose a lot. Anyway, everything else is pretty like worn off. Underneath my eyes, it has stayed pretty matte with this powder. Like, it hasn't faded. I don't know if you could tell, but it hasn't really faded or anything like that. I do have like some creases because I'm old underneath my eyes, but I was really impressed with the way it's been staying. So far, I'm kind of loving it. Okay, so I went ahead and bronzed up and put a little bit of blush. I put my lip gloss, my new obsession. I'm obsessed with this one. This one is what Fussy looks like. It's just a really soft, beautiful pink. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of show you what the color looks like. This is beautiful on every skin tone, whether you're light to medium to dark. It's gorgeous. It feels great. It's just like this one, obsessed. And as far as the concealer goes, I think it's beautiful. It's a nice lightweight concealer. So if you're dry underneath like I am, you're gonna love it because it's just really nice and creamy. I don't really feel like it's full coverage. Like when you apply your Shape Tape, it cancels everything out immediately. As you saw, I'm not really like a heavy-handed with a concealer, but when I put this on, I kind of went to town and put a ton on, and it just kind of settled really nicely. Layered in the day, it doesn't get creasy or crazy or anything like that. It doesn't feel, heavy or anything, but I do say that it will stay a little bit on the tacky side. So before you set this, make sure that you let it dry completely, because if you put this on and then the powder immediately afterwards, it's going to kind of stick and do something a little weird. So that's what happened with me when I was playing around with it. So just make sure that it's fully, dry, but it just made everything look flawless, and I really, really enjoyed the powder. It is a little, it's not like a heavy or anything like that. It does have a little bit of fragrance. When you put the two of these together, even though I have like dry under eyes, it didn't bother me because I didn't feel like I got crunch or anything. When you saw the check-in, that was like later in the evening after I had like a crazy day, because you'll see my hair, it's crazy. So I did wear these products for a long amount of time in the sun, and it just stayed on beautifully. Anyway, I love both of them. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and I'll see you again for my next one. Bye.